Hey, and welcome to Shatter The Vain. We got a fun episode this week. I have XenoTek joining me to talk about a whole bunch of fun stuff in this patch that's happening. We got the tank Taka that's surfacing. We got this Iron Guard contract team run around that's happening. We got the infusions that everyone's building every game that we don't get too much into, but we'll keep an eye on that one. And then how's Sky looking? Is she getting played that much? I've only seen her with a couple games, but I'd love to hear how everyone's game's going. And, if you're having a lot of fun with her, she is fun to play, so I definitely recommend picking her up. And then we break down one of the VIPL matches, the latest one with Gankstars. So if you haven't seen those matches, go and watch them because we're going to spoil them here on this week's episode. Definitely check that out. And I want to mention I do have the Patreon page going. So that's at patreon.com/Shatter The Vain. So if you're liking the podcast, head over there, support the show, back it if you can. Hopefully we can do some more stuff with the show, maybe 2 episodes a week or even some more interviews, some roundtable stuff. So check that out. But, I love that you're listening to the show, so don't stop doing that. Just if you can't support, no worries. You're supporting by listening and watching. But let's do it. Let's jump into this week's episode.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about vainglory.
This is the 48th episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about vainglory. Every week, I try to break down the news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. This week, helping me out as I try to get someone new on every week, just, highlight people from the community. I have XenoTek joining me. Welcome.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Brad.
This is great to have you on. I've been watching your stream for a while, but if people don't know who you are, you want to introduce yourself, let them know where they can find you, check out your stuff.
Sure. I'm XenoTek, pretty top tier player of Vainglory. You can find me streaming most every day at twitch.tv/XenoTek.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, definitely check me out. You guys have a chance.
Nice. And you just got partnered over there too, right?
Yeah, I just recently got partnered.
No, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Did you expect it to come as quickly as maybe it did, since you just kind of recently started playing Vainglory? It's been a little while now, but it seems like
it's only been a couple months, but everybody was pushing me to do it, and I kept being like, oh no, I don't want to do it yet. I don't want to do it yet. Not until I have a good amount of people and I'm all set up for it.
Yeah.
And I get partnered, and it went so fast that I wasn't even ready for 2 weeks after. I felt so bad. So I threw pizza giveaways for my subscribers and stuff.
Oh, nice. That's very nice of you. How was that process, getting partnered? You hear from some people, they just reject people right away for numbers, but they're pretty good because Vainglory is a niche community.
Mine went really fast. I emailed them and they emailed me the next day saying I was accepted.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's nuts. You're probably heartbreaking some people that have been trying for months and years even.
Yeah, I felt bad because I was talking to a bunch of streamers about it, and some of them were like, oh, I've tried 6 or 7 times, and I'm like, dang.
Man.
Mine took 12 hours.
Wow. And so what got you into Vainglory? How'd you come across it and actually start playing it?
So I've been playing MOBA since they've started, and my most recent one was League of Legends, and I got really high up in the ranks on that game, and of course had the aspirations to go professional in it, but of course, it's the 1% that get into that. So I was pretty salty at the game at the time. And my girlfriend, Ren Reaper, she introduced me to Vainglory actually, and I haven't stopped playing it since. So.
Oh, cool. So you played League from basically its launch then?
Yeah, basically.
And so you just kind of stopped playing because you got salty at it and just kind of needed something else, right?
yeah, I started playing Vainglory because of that. But then once I played it on the tablet, the gameplay was absolutely phenomenal, and there's nothing like it on tablet, I guess.
Have you gone
So,
back to League at all, or do you still follow that scene at all, or did you leave it all behind?
I still watch LCS and all that, of course. I play a game here and there, but it's
Uh-huh.
just like the mechanics are so alien at this point
Okay.
that I definitely can't operate at the level I used to.
Yeah, I know. I've jumped in like I still try to play every once in a while, and it's like, oh man, I am not very good at this game anymore. Like I was never great, but it's like I just feel like, what do I need to do here? So it's always funny to go back to those old games again.
Yeah, for sure. Like I do that with RTSs because like I'm a huge like fan of StarCraft and all that.
Okay,
And just,
man,
but I suck at it.
yeah,
So.
that's way too much micromanaging for me to like just watching people on their keyboards for that. It's like, oh my god, how do you type so fast? And
Dude, for real, like if you watch a video of their like microwing, it's insane.
yeah,
Absolutely insane.
man, I think that's also the reason I never played Warcraft is I see people's screens and buttons on that, and it's like, ah, oh my gosh. So having like three buttons and some activatables on Vainglory, it's like, I got this.
Oh, for sure, dude. I feel you.
And then even bigger, you just recently got signed with Halcyon Hammers, right? Like as a first, I guess, first Vainglory professional player, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was also because I really like people in Halcyon Hammers. I super respect a lot of them.
Cool.
Tikyun, Kima, Rage, like all of them have been really awesome people to me. So
Nice. So
yeah,
how'd that go down? Did you kind of were you thinking of leaving Gankstars, or did they kind of approach you? Like what? Or do you want to share all the backroom deals and wheeling and dealing, fancy
um,
dinners and
I don't want to go too deep into it because I'm not that kind of player that like BMs or anybody. Like I have mad respect for everybody in Gankstars.
Mhm.
All of them are phenomenal players. There was just some like internal issues for myself, uh, and it was time for me to move on as I just didn't feel myself growing as a player there
Okay.
anymore. Um, so I was looking, and then it was like a semi mutual
Okay.
looking at each other, and then I got offered this really awesome opportunity, and I couldn't pass it up. So
Yeah, that's
I,
pretty. I guess it's crazy to think that someone's now getting paid to play Vainglory, and you said your streaming's kind of like part of your job, and then this as well. So that's pretty fantastic.
yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And but again, like I'm not really in it for the money per se. I'm
Uh,
more in it because like I have deep respect for the people that I'm playing with, and
okay.
hopefully we can take it to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can do anything to help it grow and, get even more people playing and more people excited and more companies involved, that's always the goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to be at the forefront of the game, helping out as much as possible
Hmm.
and expanding the community.
Now, do you have a team that you're playing with Halcyon Hammers, or do you have like a separate team that was kind of already created outside of them?
So it was interesting, like because I was already on a team when the deal was going on. So
Hmm.
we talked about it, and they were like, for this VGL, we don't want to take you from your team, so you can participate with them. Uh,
Okay.
and so I'm currently participating under the team name Team Ren,
Okay.
uh, and it's myself, H hard carrying. Sorry, I refer to him as HC. Walmer and Shifts.
Okay.
We're hoping to, if not go all the way, at least get to the semifinals.
Okay. So I'm sure there's something worked out there if you guys get to the season one and Halcyon Hammers is involved. Like, how does that team continue? I'm sure we'll find that out later, right? You got to make it through each match, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussions in the background. Uh, Unfortunately, HC has school coming up
Oh,
that's
right.
next year. That sounds pretty intense, so I don't know how much he's going to be able to play. We'll
Right.
see.
Yeah, so many of these people, so many people playing this game right now are, in school or have jobs, and you know, playing it full time is like a new thing. Like, oh, you just play on your iPad all day? All right.
Well, that is true. Like a lot of people I play with, like all of them are have careers and stuff, and
Mhm.
they really want to make this their full time job now.
Yeah,
Like we want to help out with the esports area of it. So
cool. Well, that's awesome. Speaking of it all growing and like expanding, let's jump into the news.
Vainglory News.
So the first thing in the news, it's kind of been a light week, but there's kind of been some fun stuff happening, especially in the esports scene. We'll get in a minute. But the thing we just got shown was Saw Tier 3 skin. And I know a lot of people who maybe went to the layer for the official launch, the Android launch, got to see this skin, but now it's finally out here for all of us, all the glory. And it looks pretty nice. I think better than the other two Saw skins for sure.
I I would agree. It's like of course I'm a huge fan of Terminator, so it just makes my day. Um, it's like the second one I feel is a little like Star Wars droid ish,
Sure, yeah.
so not really my thing. But the third one looks absolutely amazing. Like to me, it looks like a uh, Space Marine from like Warhammer on that along those lines, like etc. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for it. I don't know if they did the reveal of the animations yet. I think they
Okay.
did. Didn't
I
they?
think they
I don't
just
know.
kind of showed off the splash art, and I didn't see any video yet, unless I totally blanked on that.
Yeah, either have I. So yeah, I can't wait to see the animations and
Hmm.
see where they take it because all their T3 skins are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, they always have great particles. I feel like DZ mentioned something that they said like when Saw looks, he has like a laser vision thing shooting the way he's looking.
That's awesome.
So that would be pretty neat. And since Saw, he's not as bad as he once was. He's getting some more play, so it's kind of nice that the skin is coming now.
Oh, for sure. Like I I see him coming in to the current meta pretty strong.
Hmm.
Just that tweak to Rody Run
Yeah.
getting reset was pretty awesome. So I expect to see much more of him in the future.
And yeah, and then we've been playing some games with him, and having that weapon ratio back on his alt is it's really nice.
Yeah, I would agree.
That just makes it a big difference, and you can actually do some different builds that you don't have to rely on. All right, you just go crystal, otherwise you do nothing here.
I mean, it is pretty fun to go Shanks off right now. Uh,
Sure.
but yes, I would agree where you can actually go the other build path.
Hmm.
It's pretty awesome.
So how's this patch 1.8 been treating you so far?
It's pretty awesome. Sky is just got released,
Yeah.
so um,
Have you autocorrect on the last episode basically shit it all over her? It's like she's the not she's fun to play, but she's not a great hero. Like she's not gonna replace anyone. I think was basically kind of what he said.
so I've logged about 80 plus games on Sky
Okay.
right now. Testing out every build path I can. And I would say she's pretty lackluster on just about all of them. She's pretty
Okay.
high risk, low reward champion.
Yeah.
Um, Very easily killed. Like even if you go 2+ tank items, you can still kill her pretty easily.
Okay.
Her bases are pretty weak. Um, and the whole idea of a really squishy champion pursuing someone is kind of not ideal
Right.
because the whole idea of jumping into their team to pursue somebody, like, more stands on the bruiser side of things.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what people come up with. I find maxing her B ability to be the most beneficial. It's very strong early game.
Okay.
But you have to realize all her skills are very gimmicky. Like, you can dodge every single one with relative ease. Like, her A ability, the range indicators aren't even accurate.
Oh, yeah.
The last two bullets in their animation don't hit.
Oh, weird. Where someone like Saw who has like that goes past it a little bit.
Yeah,
Hers
yeah, exactly. It's like they went the opposite direction. And then her B ability, she shoots it and it lands in front of the target. So
Okay.
literally you just stop and you dodge it.
Oh, okay.
And then her ultimate is just so slow that you just walk out of it. So you have to be pinned down for a long time. So a max overdriven Catherine stun, basically. Otherwise, you're walking out of it. So
okay, yeah, I always have a hard time even like getting it. The few games I've played with her, like getting the ultimate to actually even go off, since you have to be locked on something, and then like I move and that's gone. And it's like, oh my god, I didn't even get that off.
I totally agree. So like the circle indicator is also very misleading because it's basically a square that it goes in. So like if you put it on top of them, it goes in a volley on top of them, and then if you go on the outside, it goes in lines like behind them or on the sides of them or in front of them. So like don't look at it as a circle, look at it as a square, and that should help you land those a little better. But again, it's extremely easy just to walk out of it.
Yeah. Have you seen any good team comps with her? Like, has anything been like kind of clicking or seen any kind of success with her?
Again, Catherine seems to be the best way with her, but like a lot of slows, like Adagio, etc. People that can help her, like Taka, like jump in with her.
Okay.
But most of the time, you want to skid around the outside of the fight and then dive in because her kiting's counterintuitive. So instead of going backwards, you use your B to jump past the enemy team into where they were. So it's pretty awesome that way because her B is like actually like the longest dash in the game.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. I always end up in the wrong spot. It's like, what? I'm in the middle of the fight. Crap.
But if you could survive the initial burst, you can jump like so far away from the enemy team. So like if you go Frostburn, Broken Myth, that's the most successful build I've had with her.
Okay.
You can usually just, if you survive, you can jump and kite them away at that point.
Oh, nice. Okay. I think maybe just need more games with her. I really haven't seen that many, even with her being available for Glory this week. There was one game where someone insta-locked her. I was like, all right, I'll roll with this. And it didn't go very well.
Yeah, you won't see her much. I don't see her being a very viable pick at this point. Because what she does, Box does better.
Yeah.
In all senses of the word. And then, which is unfortunate because I was really stoked for the idea of her because it's a Matrix APU. I don't know if you know what that is, but if you don't, you guys got to go look it up.
Look it up, all right.
But it kind of went the opposite direction of what I was hoping for. But hopefully in the next couple weeks, people start figuring her out. But I'm not too optimistic, unfortunately.
Yeah, do you think we need any changes to her besides just like upping ratios? Or I feel like her A ability could benefit from just like pointing the way she's walking rather than so it could rotate.
Oh, that would be cool. That'd be actually a really cool idea. I mean, obviously fix the animations. And then see, she's a super sustain damage mage, which doesn't really benefit in a 3v3.
Okay.
Like 3v3s are all about who can kill one person the fastest, like, or burst down the entire team kind of idea. It's not about, oh, I can kill like 5,000 damage in 20 seconds. But when you can deal like 3,000 damage in 2 seconds, it's like,
Yeah, you're already
it doesn't
gone.
matter. Yeah. So like her A ability, if it hits for the whole duration, deals an insane amount of damage. But you can easily sidestep it, and basically it's done. But
Right.
as you said, if you can rotate, then that would make it like quantum better, like
Yeah,
quantum
I
leaps.
think just because if she could follow you or just go around a corner with you or something, it would help out a lot.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Again, like I don't really understand being squishy and pursuing that hard,
Yeah.
like
And you're in a
because
giant mech suit. You should be pretty strong, right?
I mean, I think the point is that she took all the armor off, and now it's like
It's
all about
lighter.
speed and mobility. But
Yeah.
like maybe make some sort of in her like abilities, maybe make passive tankiness. So like you hit 3 times with your A ability, you get a shield or something like that, like
Oh,
making
okay.
her something that makes her more durable in the fight. Because most of the time, like if you misclick your dash, you'll be dashing straight into all 3 of them,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep, that's happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So everything's pretty misleading in her range indicators.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to be successful on her right
All
now,
right.
unfortunately.
I'm sure we'll see some tweaking with her because I feel like she's a hero that Super Evil wants in the game just because of the uniqueness of her mobility and just like the, I guess, interesting gameplay you'll be able to watch, especially like with the multiple camera angles and the viewer and stuff like that.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I could see them working on her a lot in
Yeah.
the future. Hopefully, because I want to play
Yeah.
her.
Cool. And then, speaking of those multiple cameras, did you watch this latest VIPL match with Gankstars and is it PQP?
PQQ.
PQP.
Uh, yeah, of course. Like I stopped my stream early to watch them and send everybody over. Absolutely awesome games. Like PQQ, that first game, like was so well played by them. It was like really scary and nervous. Like I
Uh
got super nervous for Gankstars.
huh.
Like I don't know if anybody noticed, Druid was like 60 CS up on Iraqi Zoro by
Oh yeah.
like 6 minutes. Like it was pretty insane. Like Druid's last hitting that game, like his junglers could have completely failed, and he could have carried that
Good.
game.
Oh jeez. Yeah. That's the only one I watched, but I read like all the other stuff for the other two. I need to go back and watch them
Oh yeah,
tomorrow
like
still, but I know the outcome, and we're gonna spoil it here. I'm sure if you haven't
oh
watched these.
oh, is it okay if I
Oh
spoil them?
yeah, definitely spoil away. If you haven't seen them, you should have seen them by now.
All right, then I don't feel bad. So like as I said, I got super nervous. Like
Mhm.
I'm like they need to get Druid off. Like I feel they needed to get Druid off the box, like ban box, and I would say you would be fine. But then Gangstar's just like shored up those faults in the second game and just completely came back with a vengeance.
Mhm.
Why PQQ changed up their bans, I don't really understand. Because once Cole the Meek got on Glaive, it was like such a momentum shifter.
Right, like Gangsters didn't even ban out Vox. They banned out Dagio again. It's like just go with what works, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like so getting Cole the Meek on that like super comfort pick because like Cole the Meek's probably the best Glaive in NA at least.
Yeah.
Probably top 3 in the world, if not the best. Like, and you can see that like once he gets on Glaive, the confidence of that team goes dramatically up.
Okay.
Like
Just
they were
get,
making aggressive plays. Like from the first game, like they played super nervous and didn't make any aggressive plays into the jungle.
hmm
And PQQ punished them for that, and then they got on Glaive and they just made play after play. It was pretty phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, and then the final game, and they don't do bans. So if you're watching them, so
Yeah, yeah.
that Adagio made it through for both teams this time.
Um, again, I don't feel like Adagio really was like that impactful. It was the Glaive. The
Again, yeah,
Glaive was just and PQQ. Like I don't know why they took Druid off the box. They put him on Celeste, if I believe
yeah,
correctly, if I remember correctly. So it was like okay. Like I realized Celeste, I believe, was what they played in the qualifiers, but I think that Vox is he's just so phenomenal on that champion. I
right.
keep saying that word, but again, like once they had Glaive, like their confidence went skyrocketing,
Uh-huh.
and it was just so awesome to watch them bounce back from that first game.
Yeah, it's kind of like they realized, or they saw what they were doing or their plan, and learned from it, adapt it quickly. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah, like again, like from that first game, like a lot of people like that I was hanging out with, like we were like super nervous that they weren't going to make it through.
Uh-huh.
And like then they got that Glaive pick, and we were like, oh, nice, this is going to be the turnaround right here.
Yeah. So with that win, Gankstars moves on to the finals, and I don't think we have the second team yet, right?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, the next game is between Hunters and Invincible Armada,
Right.
which is going to be an awesome set of games because both teams are phenomenally skilled.
Yeah, and then whoever makes it on like the finals for this is gonna be pretty epic. Is it still? Do you know if it's still a best of three, or did they go to a best of five for the finals?
I'm sure the finals will be a best of five to really test the skill of the players.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Like whoever gets through, it's going to be an awesome best of five or best of three.
Yeah.
Like of course, Invincible Armada, like probably the best rotation team in the game at this point,
Hmm.
and their team play is unparalleled in my opinion. But I believe Hunters like has the same kind of like set of skills.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really tell from the group stages, uh, just because theirs was everybody saying is the weaker group, but
Okay. Hmm.
they are a really strong team, and either one of them could go to the finals. So
Right. I feel like if it's Invincible Armada, we're kind of getting that rematch from the
it's
World's Invitational, right?
it certainly looked that way, but again, like Hunters, like Queen is a really good support player.
Hmm.
Her shot calls won them, got them to the semifinals, I believe,
Yeah.
and Worlds, and it was really awesome to watch them there. So I think it'll be on her to really keep her team together and out rotate the Invincible Armada.
Okay.
That seems to be the way to beat Invincible Armada is to get to the like punch first, I guess.
Uh
Like
huh. Like figure out where they're gonna be for their rotation, so you can catch them in their act. I guess.
yeah, exactly. Because like once they get their first rotation and get to your backs, it's over. Like they will control your backs the rest of the game.
Hmm. Does it
So
feel? It seems pretty exciting that a North American team has made it to the finals for a MOBA at this point.
it is pretty awesome because I don't think there's been a North American team in the finals in a MOBA like ever. Like in League of Legends, the first one was EU.
Yeah.
Then it's been basically Koreans the rest. Uh, and then in Dota, I'm
Dota.
not really sure. I haven't kept up with them much.
Wait, didn't EDG just won Dota? So I think that was
Oh, nice.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So this is I think maybe NA's their time is now.
I would definitely say that like this is pretty awesome. Like I'll be rooting for an A all the way.
Sure.
Like I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Nice, yeah. Keep an eye out. Vainglory is pretty good about tweeting out when these matches go up. They're always at like really late or early in the morning, so watch their Twitter, and they put it up in the news feed as well. So if you want to watch them when they go live, or follow the OGN Twitch page, definitely goes up there as well. And then we're like a week and a half from TwitchCon. Are you going out to TwitchCon?
I actually wasn't planning on it because money's been pretty tight and I've been like preoccupied with other stuff.
Sure.
But I just got an offer that I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make it.
Oh,
actually.
cool.
So
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to that. What about you, man? Are you?
Yeah, I'm
heading
gonna
out?
I'm gonna be out there. Should be fun. I haven't been to San Francisco in a while, so just to be out there will be great.
Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to meeting you
Yeah,
then.
I think there's gonna be a lot of Vainglory people out there. I'm sure Vainglory may have like a booth or something set up that they're doing with Twitch. They haven't revealed too much of that yet.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, if you look at the schedule of TwitchCon, like there is a lot of Vainglory events like
Okay.
planned. I think more than any other. Uh,
Yeah, they
yeah,
seem
it's like two. There's
okay.
two events planned for Vainglory, so it's like I think it's pretty awesome that they get to be a part of that.
Yeah, they seem to have a very good relationship with the Twitch people, so it's a nice sign.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then the last bit of news before we jump into some form static, I just want to mention the free hero rotation. It's always nice for new players to check that out. It's changing every Tuesday, so definitely keep an eye on the news section as well. But this week we have Ringo, Cruel, Petal, Fortress, Arden, and Celeste. I think a pretty fun lineup here. I actually played a game of Fortress earlier today, and I forgot how much fun he is to play, just because he kind of had fallen off the meta a little bit. But he's still a blast and just like rolls over people. I ended up like 13-1. I was just like stealing kills because the bleed, the bite. It's like you don't expect it.
Uh, yeah, for sure. In my opinion, Fortress's kit more fits a carry role, but
hmm
that's my opinion.
Yeah, and then you just kill steal. You just might as well be the carry then.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty fun lineup. Ringo is basically always on the free rotation.
Yeah,
Going to be a little bit more difficult for weapon power mains, but
yeah.
I would suggest trying out some crystal power Ringo.
Yeah, so how do
Pretty
you
fun.
feel like Ringo's been since the 1.8 patch? Have you
Uh,
been playing him that much?
he's fallen off quite dramatically,
Yeah.
weapon power wise, but if you go tension bow into crystal power, he's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
He's pretty awesome to play. But it's a totally different style than weapon power. You have to ult basically before the fight begins,
Right.
or your damage output's pretty low. But I would definitely suggest trying that out for new players and old players with Ringo.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And I'm sure if you've been playing for a while, you probably own Ringo. Or you just haven't picked him up because he's always free. So here's your chance. Because I don't think he was in there last week. So
I don't think so, actually.
check him out. Well, that does it for the news. But let's jump into some form static.
Forum static.
So I found two things on the forums that have kind of been spreading quickly. The first one is this tank Taka that is kind of, I feel like a mess right now. I found a build on Vainglory Fire. I'll share it in the show notes. This one kind of gives you an aftershock and a bunch of tank items, but I've been seeing tension bow and tank items. Have you been
Oh,
seeing this as well?
oh yeah. Basically, like it's been going on for a while now.
Right.
Especially right before tension bow got slightly nerfed. You would see tension bow into pure tank,
Okay.
because you can still kill the carry basically late game. And then it's sort of carried over into this patch.
And since the defense items are cheaper, you get to this
Exactly.
tank Taka faster.
Yeah, basically you go Fountain, Atlas, and you can't die for
And
the
then
entire game.
it's annoying to play against because Taka's jumping all over the place and you can't catch him, you can't stun him. If you get him, he's just gonna box and run away with just a sliver of health because he's healing again and he's so tanky. And then he comes back
Exactly.
in and just jumps on the last person who's alive.
Exactly. So like again, like what's pretty unfair is that he's sort of like I wasn't around then, but Tank Koshka back in the day, where she
Okay.
could just build pure tank and
Yeah.
kill everybody. So it's along that lines where he can build tanky and still kill your carry 1v1. Where it's like, okay, he has one damage item, I should be able to kite back and survive at least, but he can just still kill your carry and be at full HP. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they fix this, but I believe it's a problem. Nivbit also played it on the Undersprawl. It was him and the Shinkaigen gang versus the Undersprawl, and he went tank Taka, and so unfair.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, like how the meta shifts more towards the bruiser idea. So it's like, okay, I only need to build one damage item and then build pure tank. You see that with a lot of Rona now as well.
Yeah.
Both of them are along the same lines of like jumping around, in my opinion. Rona's a little bit more straightforward. But, yeah, right now it's pretty interesting. I think the way is to make defense items a little bit more expensive, but at the same time, it's just really the character Taka has a lot of perks already.
Yeah.
Like his passive is literally like 4 passives. like you can. It's pretty interesting. So I feel they either like need to up the price of defensive items or do a little rework on Taka to make him more of his role, which is an assassin, not I can still assassinate, but I can just sit here in the fight
and live forever. Yeah. It's like,
Yep, exactly. Like my preferred build is Blazing Salvo, heavy still going into Fountain,
okay.
and then finishing up with damage item and then going pure tank, and it's rarely fails me. Like I haven't played Taka recently very well.
Okay. What I guess for people who are running into this, like, what's a good counter for them? Is it just because you can't like just say like, oh, don't kill Taka because they're the tank. You still got to jump into this.
It's pretty rough right now, to be honest. I would say you need to basically stun him out, like get some CC, be it Catherine, or obviously it's blind pick and rank, so it's really hard to be like, oh, they're picking Taka, I need to pick Catherine and Glaive or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Glaive's pretty successful against him because once he gets past like level, like he can outduel him level 2,
right?
And then he gets outdueled by Taka for like level 8 or so, in my opinion. And then Glaive takes over the game again.
Okay.
So like literally you have to survive like 5 minutes, and then Glaive takes over the game from him.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Glaive's more successful in that bruiser role.
And since he's got the AoE damage, he can usually like get rid of maybe 2 people at the same time. So.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely stuns, and I would say if you can get to the enemy carry as fast as possible and kill him. But as you said, like you have to focus Taka most of the time. So
it's rough. All right.
Yeah.
I think it gets played a little bit in the upper tiers, but I don't think it's not an every game thing yet. It's not like a Scarf or even Tank Kashka. So
It's getting there.
okay.
It's pretty close to every game at this
It,
point.
it will be as I spread this more and tell everyone all the secrets.
Yeah.
The other thing that is spreading like crazy this weekend is this broken meta video. Have you watched this video yet?
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't watched this, I'll include a link in the show notes. But the idea is basically the the jungle carry and the jungle tank are going to build Warhorns, and they're going to have the Iron Guard contract. And so the passive on the Iron Guard contract is when attacking non-heroes, basic attacks deal plus 3% of target's max health per second as true damage. So this basically means it's 3% of the target's damage. So if this is a turret, 3% of damage on the turret, and I think they said 30 turret hits, and the turret is gone. And so you buy Storm Guard, you build attack speed, and you take down turrets as fast as you can. You don't worry about dying, because if you die, you're up fast enough before the other team could even push this down as well. And the video in this explanation, the game was over in 9 minutes. So,
yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, having heroes that can, with high mobility too, is I think the key as well. If you have like a Glaive, a Rona, Arden, they can jump over walls. They can get to the Vein Crystal if that's all that's exposed. Jump over jungle walls, just kind of kite. You're basically just running around as fast as you can, causing chaos.
Yeah, exactly. So, although the enemy team like gets ahead but they just don't care because, as you said, the CD of their death is like really low. So they just come back and they just keep rotating. They keep going through the enemy jungle, and then at like 3 minutes or so, they go into lane and just take a turret, and they come back, take a turret. So then they get to the main turrets, and then they just backdoor.
Yeah.
And Rona is really successful in this because not only does she have mobility, she has innate attack speed.
Right.
With her passive and her new post splitter. So she's basically really strong in that sense, but I really hope it doesn't go crazy because I would say the only way to counter it is have your support player always in lane with your carry.
Okay.
Like always. Like once you see them build contract on their jungle carry, put your support player straight in the lane.
Okay, just help protect that turret as much as you can then.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, they're just going to take your jungle. So maybe you just do the same thing and buy contract.
So if you see it happening, you have to react and do it too. So it's what it's going to come down to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because again, like even though you kill them, they're eventually going to get that build. So, and just push until they get the turrets.
Yeah, so you're going to only run into this with a team of 3 people probably. They all have to be on the same page. So if you're just a solo queue player, you might not see this. But if you're playing ranked 3s, I feel like you're going to run into this week.
Yeah, I would think so.
Do you think anyone is going to try this in VGL?
I would think so as well. Okay. Because the video is getting very popular. So. Yeah,
even if they're getting streamed, I feel like if someone's getting streamed, they may not do it just on the fact that they're going to get called out and just be like, oh, you're just taking advantage of it. But
I mean, if a strategy works, those teams don't care. You could maybe even see VGL making a ban at this point, like bannable offense, but we'll see.
Okay. I guess it
depends. It is like super BM, like literally, like you have no respect for the other team. You're just gonna buy Warhorn and push and not care because you can get Warhorn relatively fast, like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, you've already been seeing it even before this video came out. You've been seeing Warhorn kind of make a comeback which has been fun. But
Yeah, it's super awesome. But like, then you have this little
I guess
like
it's not really a hack. It's like
it's a loophole.
loophole. That's a good way to think of it. Yeah.
So like, I'm assuming they're gonna next patch put it where it doesn't affect turrets, or like maybe less on turrets.
Yeah, I think it has to. It's just not. They don't want this kind of stuff to happen. Creates no strategy. It's no gameplay. Yeah, you can't.
Exactly, it's like the ultimate form of BM. As
Yeah.
I said, like you don't have respect for the other team to play against them.
Okay. So tank takas and Iron Guard contracts. That's what we have looking forward to in the next couple weeks with patch 1.8. Oh man, always
Yeah,
crazy stuff that happens. I don't know. People figure it out. No matter how much testing can be done, there's always someone else that figures it out. And then before we get out of here, I want to mention this crazy game I had.
Crazy game story.
There's always crazy game stories and fun things that happen, like these Iron Guard contract things before you realize it's a thing. But I had this game where we basically base raced each other at the end of the game. My team was losing almost the whole time. And then we were starting to push down lane. Our jungle carry, who was Jewel, got caught out. I was playing Scarf. And the Arden and I just decided we just have to go for it. They had 2 turrets up on their side, and we had 2 turrets left on our side. They had a Vox and I believe a Catherine. So I just went for it. I was like, we got nothing to lose. We can't defend this. Vox is gonna kill us all because that's what Vox does. He just kills everyone. And the game, it went down to the last second, but I ended up shattering their vein right before ours blew up. It was on the screen where both it showed my character destroying the vein crystal and then the Vox destroying the vein crystal. That's how close it was.
Oh wow.
And they had one person back to try to slow us down. I think if they would have all just rushed the turrets, they would have got it before us. So that was like the most intense thing. I put my game away. I did not play for the rest of the night. I was like, that was enough.
Yeah, those games are like the games that make you keep playing MOBAs kind of idea.
Yeah.
Where it's like comes down to the letter, like, and like usually it's a team fight that decides it, but base racing is like super intense and super fun.
Yeah, it's usually like I haven't had a base race like really since like Taka's, backdoors and things like that. But actual base race, since the vein crystal animations are different on them too. I know that one kind of implodes and the other one kind of like shatters. Like I was looking at ours and it looked like ours blew up first rather than theirs. So it was like, oh my God, did we win? Until that victory screen came up.
Dude, I feel you. I feel you.
Have you had any like crazy stories recently or crazy games recently like that?
Mostly Rona, Arden, and like we were in a game. I was solo queuing again. Like it came down to the base race. Like they were pushing. They just killed our laner, and we're pushing our T3 turret, and they had 2 turrets left, and we were like, we're just gonna go for it and skid it around. They were on our vein turrets when we jumped over their wall, and we came out with the win.
Oh man!
Like Vox came back up and didn't 1v3 per se, but was able to hold them off long enough for us to
finish the
win
game
because they all went back. Like if they just pushed, they would have won, but they decided to try and go back, and Vox came and stopped their backs, and we were able to pull out the game in the end.
Man, I think that's the one thing I think that's great about like streaming and recording your games is like looking back on that and like realizing like, oh, we should have did this, and you correct it later, or because in the heat of the moment, it's always like, no, we gotta back and like protect it. I feel like you always don't think about like just go for it, screw it.
Exactly. Especially at like if you're looking to go competitive, like I always suggest like recording your games, analyzing them. Like that's like the most essential part.
Cool.
And understanding what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. Whew. Man, whew. Thinking about that game and your game is just getting me like worked out. I just want to jump back in there. So let's get out of here. This has been episode 48. XenoTek, thanks for joining me on it.
Thanks for having me, brother. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Before we get out of here, again, where can people follow you? Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so my Twitch is twitch.tv/XenoTek, and my Twitter is XenoTek_VG.
Cool. And I'll include a link in the show notes and this post, so be sure to check both those up. Follow him when he's streaming. Are we gonna see you streaming on Mob Crush, or I mean on Camcord now that you're part of Halcyon Hammers?
We'll see.
Okay.
Like I really like Twitch, but we'll see. Like,
Cool.
the future is unknown right now.
All right. No. All right. And if you want to follow Shatter The Vain, it's on Twitter /Shatter The Vain, Facebook page /Shatter The Vain as well. I usually posting news stories up there, other interviews I find, other podcasts as well. So be sure to like it up. And then the website shatterthevain.com. All the episodes get posted there. Links to iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff. Ways for you to watch and listen to the show. So check it out there. And that'll do it for this week's episode. Thanks for listening.
Shatter the Vain.